Everyone, and welcome to another edition of Heart to Heart. My name is Elmira. On this show, we share stories of breakthrough. We have a special guest today, Johanne McInnis of Harp Wellness Fest. We're actually going to hear live music and talk about her story and the festival upcoming, the healing power of music, and so much more. So let's get test of this. And so I'm excited. I am excited. Okay, you're there. You just I turn your camera around the other way because I'm seeing, I think, a wall or something.
I see. Okay.
There you go. Oh, how beautiful. Hi, I get to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh. So are you traveling today
Yes,
or?
I'm between schools today because I'm a full-time teacher, right? In between all the projects that I have on the go. So this is what's happening today.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I know you were telling me you would love to like ground us with some of this harp music. Would you like to start us out with that?
Yes, and like I mentioned to you earlier, I do have a short meditation that can be used. You will imagine that you are on the sand on the beach, and I could start with that. However, since I'm traveling in between schools, I do not have the small harp as I mentioned to you, but you can imagine the feeling it would be if you would be on the beach with me, just grounding with the five senses.
Okay, let's do it. I say let's begin with that meditation and we can get into our imagination.
Sounds good. I love the way you start this. Thank you so much. So, I would like to invite you slowly to wherever you are to stand up and ground your feet. Anchor your feet on the ground. If you are on the beach, you could feel the grain of sands between your toes, under your feet. And if you are just at home, simply on the floor, just feel the ground underneath. Feel it with all the spaces of your feet. And imagine that your feet can reach all the roots as far as you can, all the way down the earth. And of course, we are slowly breathing as we start this short meditation about the five senses. And the goal is to bring it back any time of the day, whenever we feel anxious or we have distracted thoughts, is just to bring it back to our five senses. Right now, we're feeling our feet on the ground. Feel the equilibrium you're feeling with your body and your spine. And take a deep breath. And exhale. Your eyes are closed. You are standing and feeling all under your feet. Breathe in again. Hold it and exhale. Now I'm going to bring you to your heart. Touch your heart and feel the pulse of your heart as you breathe at your space, at your own um, timing. Feel the heartbeat. Inhale. Feel the heartbeat as you hold and exhale. As you are touching your heart, I will invite you to now to imagine that you're touching the grain of sand between your fingers. Allow, catch a little bit of sand in your imagination, and then feel slowly, slowly all the grains escaping from your palm and in between your fingers. If you prefer to think of something else, a texture that you like, that you would like to touch, please feel it now. something soft, something a little bit harsh, something like sandpaper. Some people like that effects. And you are still breathing as you imagine how you feel that touch. Hold it and exhale. I will invite you now with your eyes closed. Hear what you hear. What are you hearing at the moment? Take a few seconds to breathe in. Hold your breath and hear what you hear. I hear the sound of birds. I hear a few cars passing by, and I can hear and feel the wind on my skin. And exhale. Breathe in again. Hear what you hear while you hold. And exhale while you hear what you hear. And finally, we're going to open our eyes, and I'm going to ask you to notice what your eyes are noticing. Try to frame 3, 4, or 5 objects or part of nature or objects from home. Breathe in. Notice what your spirit is noticing, as Deepak Chopra says, and exhale. Breathe in. Hold it and notice what your spirit is noticing, as Deepak Chopra teaches us, and exhale. One more time, breathe in. Hold it. Notice what your spirit is noticing, as our dear Deepak Chopra teaches us, and exhale. Keep your eyes open and welcome to this beautiful moment together. I'm going to give it back to Elmira.
Oh, thank you. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. And you mentioned Deepak Chopra a couple of times. What impact has he had on you, like in what you do with everything, like your Harp Wellness Fest and everything else, your art? Has he had a big impact?
Yes, I guess during a moment of transition in my life, I came across his books and I just drank his books one after the other. One of the big transition I was going through, I read one of his quotes that says, it was about transition and that, transitions are like a gift. Seeing the gifts behind transition. And that's one of my meditation I created just with this thought from him. Understanding that there are gifts behind every transition, whether they're good or bad. So that was one of the key thoughts that really inspired me to do some compositions and meditations. The one that I just mentioned, notice what your spirit is noticing. We go through our day sometimes and we just go, 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 go. But it's nice once in a while to just take a few seconds and say, okay, notice what your spirit is noticing. I was in my class this morning and I practiced it. I had a few students working together. I played a game with one of my students, and while I was watching, what else was going around, but I was saying, notice what your spirit is noticing all around you. And it really helps us to breathe deeply when we do that. And it helps us to appreciate the moment and to anchor our whole body into the situation. So, yeah, many books by Deepak Chopra are so awesome. I encourage people who are going, especially through transitions, to just dig into them.
Yes, beautiful. I've read a couple of his things, maybe not as many as you, but but that's good. Now I want to also find out, how did you get into the harp? Like, what brought that on for you?
Yes, so I lived in Nova Scotia for 20 years, and I'm back and forth between Quebec and Nova Scotia, Canada. Oh, so in 2017, I was on a sabbatical from teaching, and I took my training as a yoga teacher. At the end of the session, they said, you need to present a special project at the end of the session. So I said, you know what? I'm going to combine harp and yoga on the beach. And my project evolved from, just doing it as the last class, imagining that we were on the beach. And from there, the next fall, I created the Harp and Wellness Fest on Kingsport Beach, Nova Scotia. And I just decided to integrate my harp music and I decided to work with various yoga teachers from the region where I was. So the goal is to make it grow, and in the next 3 years, we're going to be presenting Harp and Wellness Fest in various parts of Canada on the most beautiful, stunning beaches in our beautiful country. So this is what happened. This is how I started. It was after a big transition that I went through, divorce with 4 teenagers, that really got me to go deep inside and say, Joanne, what's next? You're strong, you can do it. And I had a lot of teachers around me who were saying, Joanne, we've been through this. You can do it. Just go to bed early at night and you'll make it through. And it was a soul searching time. I decided to just use that time as a gift instead of getting depressed. Of course, in the first few months, it was extremely hard to, get back on your feet, especially when the family stability is, shaken a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to turn this into a learning curve. So I did my yoga training. I did a year sabbatical. I started to performing in various parts of Canada, and I presented the Harp and Wellness Fest. And this is how it started.
That's beautiful. And one of the things you mentioned, because it's something I talk about all the time, is how those transitions in life can be our breakthrough. So, like you said, you looked at your divorce as, what can I pull from this? You used it as a gift. You're like, what is the gift? What is the message? What can I get from this? Because you could have easily got depressed or just any number of things long term, but you created something from that. What do you say about creation, and what sparks creation for you?
Well, what did start the Harp and Wellness Fest, if I may say, is I wanted to create a space where the healing power of music, especially the harp, could meet the groundedness of yoga, meditation, and intentional living. The festival became a celebration of inner peace, personal growth, and community through creativity. Because in each province where I'm planning to go, I will reach out to the best of the best, the people who are good in education and have specific tools to share, people in mindfulness who have developed specific tools that they want to share, people in the environment era where they can share, what are the breakthrough. So I want to reach out at 4 big pillars: education, mindfulness, environment, and wellness. So these are the 4 elements that are touched during the festival. And what makes the harp so powerful in wellness practice? Well, the harp has a naturally calming resonance. Its tones bypass the intellect and go straight to the nervous system. It often produces a deep sense of stillness in all of us and safety. It invites us to breathe, to feel, and to slow down. And so when people come to the Harp Wellness Fest, it's time to slow down. It's mainly addressed to leaders in Canada, like nurses have come to the festival, teachers, people working.
I think I lost you a bit. Oh, she'll be back. Just to kind of fill in where she was talking about who's going to come to the fest. This is for leaders. It's a time to slow down. So the Harp Wellness Fest will be traveling to all provinces in Canada. Let me see if I can get Joanne back, because that was something with the connection there. I just sent her another invitation. And as she was talking, I could feel that with the harp, because I remember back when 9/11 happened, and there was this song. There's an artist, I can't remember his name, but he plays the harp, and he would play the Lord's Prayer. That song soothed me so much, and it's because of what Joanne was mentioning. The resonance of the harp makes us feel still. It makes us feel at peace. It makes us feel grounded. And I know I listened to that song. I think his name might be Jeff Majors or something like that. Y'all can tell me if you remember who plays that song. But it calmed me a lot, because that was a frantic time for many of us. For me, for many of us, we didn't know what was happening. We saw the it says you were unable to join. Let me see if I can send you but just to continue, okay, we got you back. Sometimes that
Hey, I
happens.
had a message that the phone was getting hot, so I guess it's
Oh, I understand.
I'm
Well,
scared
we
of.
won't be on here too much longer. I was actually filling in and adding to some of the stuff you mentioned, how I used to listen to this one song on the harp when 9/11 happened here in the United
Yeah,
States. And it was really soothing to me. This guy, he plays I would listen to the song over and over and over. And I never put it together until you mentioned the resonance of the harp and how it keeps you grounded. I distinctly remember listening to that one song over and over again
yes,
right after 9/11.
I understand. Because the harp is one of the oldest instruments in the world, so it's as if it touches all the history that we have inside of us.
Mm, that is amazing. Well, tell me, because I want other people to be able to find out about the Harp Wellness Fest. How
Yes.
can they register? Because it's coming up. Is it coming up this summer? What's the time frame? Because I know you'll be traveling to different places.
Yes, there will be one day in July, and it's going to be Wellness and AI with Joseph Orgy. It's a student, it's a young man who's doing his master degree in the University of Halifax. And he's created an app that, in order to play on the app, you need to keep smiling. If you stop smiling, the app will stop, interacting with you. So, and there's so much more to
Wow.
his app. He's amazing. He came last summer to our fest. So we have a big fest every 2 years usually, because I'm, full-time teacher and I can only have some time to prepare it. So one day this summer, and then in 2026, we're planning to do it in Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. So,
Oh,
what can people expect from when they come to the Harp and Wellness Fest? Well, what can they expect? They'll experience an immersive soundscape, guided meditation, gentle movement sessions, creative workshops, an inspiring conversation, and lots of amazing lectures. And all of that, all in a nature-rich, heart-centered environment. So it's not just an event, it's an invitation to really reset. So rest, reset, and rise for our leaders and people who are, aspiring leaders. And how do you guide people when they say, I'm too busy for the Wellness Fest? Well, I remind people that, wellness, it's about adding more. It's not about adding more to your schedule or your to-do list. It's about creating a tiny sacred pause in your day, in your summer, even 2 minutes, if you keep the practice, even 2 minutes of breathing, and then adding some single harp notes and single harp music to your meditation or quiet reflection can shift everything. So it's a place to really reconnect, if you are a leader and you really want to gather and do some creative writing with people who are inspiring. Um, it's a place to be in a beautiful setting. If you have time to listen to harp and meditation guidance by Eric, um, from one of the meditation center in Montreal. We have a meditation that has been done on Kingsport Beach. Eric Loreste and Johanne McInnis. That's a nice one to listen to. And yes, that's every 2 years. So the big festival is every 2 years. The big one was last summer, 2024, 26, 28, and 30. The reason I do it every 2 years, is that I just want to be able to really rejuvenate and take time to find the cream of the people who are practicing mindfulness. There are so many great people doing great things in our world, and I really want to start a radio of good news one day where it counteracts, what we hear in the traditional media. There are so many people doing great things in this world, and they need a voice. And I'm hoping that the Harp and Wellness Fest will be a place where they can voice their inspiration. And also the Art of Wellness will be the podcast series that will be started in the near future. So all that to help people, meet online first and then grow into getting to know each other live on the most beautiful beaches in Canada. Right now I'm in front of the St. Lawrence River. I'll just show you. And it's a beautiful sunny day. It's been raining here for at least almost 2 weeks. So that sunshine is really appreciated. If there is rain at the festival, we do have usually a church in Nova Scotia where we can do our activities, or the conferences can be given, or Acadia University in Wolfville, Nova Scotia has been a place of gathering last summer if there was some rain. The Friday night last year was given to the electric car and the environment. What are our thoughts about that? That was very interesting. But I think the peak was AI and wellness. People are afraid of AI. There's a nice wellness way of approaching it.
Yeah, because they can be friends, they can be cohesive. There's no reason to say, okay, AI cannot work with wellness. Why not?
It's like everything else. As long as you add the word discernment, and that's what I'm saying in high school. If we can continue to offer a course on discernment in media, it will help people to create beautiful things. You pick and choose, and what doesn't belong to us just stays where it belongs.
I agree. Because that discernment is so key. It's so critical, because if it's for you, it's for you. And if it's not, it's not. And there's no reason to bash or get argumentative, any of those things either.
Yes.
It's way too much. Well, Joanne, I always ask everybody a final question. And so that question is, what has been your greatest breakthrough when it comes to the harp and wellness? Because that's what you're about. You're about this groundedness. What has been your greatest breakthrough in that area, in that realm?
When I sit down at the harp and I see the people getting ready, whether it's a early morning meditation, sunrise meditation, or evening sunrise, or afternoon guided meditation. One of the two I do is finding the hidden gifts behind life's transitions. The other one is sailing through life. I had a testimony of a lady who came one day. She was from Texas. She just saw the advertisement that weekend and said, I have to be there. The spirit calls you, eh? When you need to be somewhere, your spirit is calling you. You just have to, you're pulled. You have to go. So this lady, as I was saying, just let all your baggage and all your sadness and all your fears, let it sink through the sand. when I saw her and, expressing with tears, the tears came out and said, Johanne, after the meditation, I really felt all my worries and all my angst going through the grain of sands on the beach. And when people come to me and say, you brought me back 40 years behind with the sound of the harp, and I was able to put a flashlight in each corner of my life, and I was able to face them. I was able to see what went well, what didn't work, and I'm ready to pick up with what went well, and let's move on with that. So it gives a hope that we're able to move on no matter what happens. We can recreate and create every day. And these are the most beautiful moments. I don't have to talk when we do creative writing. I said, I'm playing this piece. I'm not going to tell you yet what inspired me to play it, but you start writing about it. And one of the pieces called After the Rain, Beautiful Weather. And you have the sound of the rain before, and perhaps I'll send it to you if you want to add it at the end, if you wish. It's on my website, After the Rain, Beautiful Weather. So there's sounds of the rain at the beginning, and then you have the theme of the clouds who are moving, and then suddenly the sun rays come through in the music, and then you hear angel voices, because I love to sing while I play too. And then I finish back the loop in getting back to the clouds are moving and the sun rays, and then refreshing raindrops falling on a fresh morning grass. And when I ask people to write on that specific piece of music, you wouldn't believe the things that people write. Some people write a prayer, some people write a poem, some people write the next goals in their life. They are becoming very, very clear. And yes, so these are the best gifts, when you see the power of these sounds of that music, the power it has on helping people to come to grasp with what is, what was, and what is not needed anymore. It's a gift. It's powerful.
That is powerful. And like I'm in tears over here because it's so heartwarming. It's so touching because I'm making this connection today to how connected the harp is to the heart. It really is like it's this central focus. Any final words you have to say before we close out today?
Well, if I don't know where you're from, and if you're listening, send me a little message at Harp Wellness Fest. Tell me that you heard this message, this little podcast, and perhaps I'll have a little offerings for you for the festival coming up in 2026. So Harp Wellness Fest, you will see a lady on a black mat, laying over the sea, and then the big harp raising up to the sky. So I hope you can reach out and send me a personal message. I would like to hear your story so I can put it in music when you come to Canada in the next year, and maybe this summer. Take good care. And thank you, Elmira, for being so aware and encouraging for specific things like the Harp Wellness Fest. Thank you for, giving room today to the Harp and Wellness Fest.
Yes, definitely. And this was perfect because what'll happen is, we're like a year out from the big festival next year. People will see this and they will come. They're going to contact you, as you mentioned. They'll contact you, tell you their stories and everything. So everyone, this has been another edition of Heart to Heart, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
You're welcome.